even if your parents want to kill you, you make a plan to go like, he is around the corner. I need to get out of the house and risk it all,
Yeah.
You would think about what mom's going to say when you're coming back. But when you're going, it's all about him.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Tadiwa and I'm Tafadzwa, and we are the T-Twins. Okay, first of all, I want to thank you all for your support, for sharing the videos and also liking them and commenting. We love you so much. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to welcome Minister of the Word of God, a mother of 3 kids. Yes, our inspiration, my sister's inspiration mostly, and yeah, a singer also. Yeah.
Okay.
Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. I am Pastor Winnet Manenji in Victoria Falls, and I am delighted to share the walk with you. Yes, let's get on to it. Okay, I got born again when I was 13 years old. It was a more of God chose me and I actually chose him. So it was, I was coming from a Zion background, and my sister was already born again, and she was an all-night prayer, and she's older than me. So my mom was a bit worried about these all nights, and then she just sent me to go and check, because she really at church. So I was mommy's little spy. So I got into an office, a church office in Bulawayo at Anchor House building, where they were having their all-night prayer. It was a youth all-night prayer. What I remember from that day is I saw the pastor, because he used to come to our house, so I knew the pastor. Then I saw the keyboard player and the drummer, and then I saw my sister sitting there. And then that was about around 9 p.m. And then I came to at around 5 a.m. and there were people standing over me. So apparently there was a whole deliverance experience that happened. The moment I entered that room, the power of God hit me, and apparently there were multiple of devils that were cast out. Apparently, so the whole night was a special night all about me, and they didn't do much of praying. And so when I came to, I received my calling, and I received Jesus, and I received the gift of tongues the same night. So it was more like God found me, God chose me. I didn't have much of a choice in it. Thank God that he did that, because from where I was, I didn't know anything wrong with where I was. So he more like found me from where I was and led me to where he was.
Wow.
So it was a very beautiful experience, because afterwards I was born again. Afterwards I started my walking church. Afterwards I started living a Jesus kind of life. So I never really had anyone convincing me or asking me to receive Jesus or anything. He found me, and it's been the best thing ever.
Wow. Okay. So how did you know that you were called to be a pastor?
Well, initially it was a calling that was spoken to me by the pastor in that place. He said to me.
So the same day?
The same day I received Jesus.
Wow.
Yes, so it was like he's seeing a calling of God upon my life. And then from there were dreams, there were visitations, there were encounters of God showing me the sheep and asking me to lead, and encounters of actually him speaking to me in person to tell me, this is what I want you to do. So it's been years and years and series. And then from there, I only became a pastor more than 15 years later.
Okay. So was it hard, or you just embraced it? You just accepted it?
I can safely say from the time I was born again, I've been a pastor. Like, because pastoring is not an ordination. Pastoring is who you are. So when I was 13, I moved to boarding school. I was the kind of girl who everybody came with problems to sit people down. Some were suicidal, pray with them, pray over them, became the SU president for the school, addressing issues at that level. So I can say at every stage of my life growing up, there's always been that pastoral pull and drive to it. Even I remember when I got married, we moved to a complex. I mean, it was more than 22 apartments. And everyone would come to me, being the youngest in the complex, from as old as 60s. They would come to me and go like, I feel like I should share this with you. I feel like I should share this with you. So there's always been that pastoral pull and push that has always been in my life. So it was more like stepping up to it and being it than actually making a decision about it. I folded into it naturally.
Okay. Did you have maybe problems along the way, along the journey?
Yeah. The biggest challenge, if I could say, we don't call them problems because we learn from them. They're challenges. It's a challenge that you grow from it. The biggest challenge, obviously, has always been people, because you're dealing with people, they are coming to you, you're going to them. There's always going to be things that are said. Some of them you'll be shocked and be like, oh wow, really? When did that happen? How did it happen? Well, I didn't know that about myself. So it's always having the damage that it causes to the work of God and always having to rebuild and continue rebuild. But though His grace is sufficient and He makes it saleable, but when you're dealing with people, you never know. You will never know what you're going to hear about yourself. Okay. You hear something and like, okay, I'm interested. How did it go? But the heartbreaking thing is the damage that it does to the people of young faith. Some you lose them to things like that, and as a shepherd, it bleeds your heart because you always want everybody to be kept, but you can only do so much. So in the walk, that has been the number one challenge, where you lose people due to misunderstanding and sometimes the things you don't really know about. Yeah, so it's been the biggest challenge in the walk.
So, like, what's your advice to a person, right, a young person who just received the calling of being a pastor? Because from your talk, right, how did you become consistent in seeking the Lord? Or you did not become consistent, or there were problems, or there were challenges along the way, or what really drives you to continue seeking God?
The first question that you ask is how to become. How do you do it? Yeah. God's business is, God is the best boss to work for. He is like the coolest boss ever to work for. Yeah. Because in all other jobs you have to engineer and pioneer and come up with things and come up with projects and do that. But with God, you sit and wait. Yes. Even with sermons and everything, is if he speaks, he tells you what to go and tell his children. He tells you how to pray. He tells you how to go. So what I can tell a young person who wants to take up the call is just let him lead. Just let God lead. Let go of yourself. Let go of what you think it should be. Let go of what you have seen others do it, how others are doing it. And just go like, Lord, lead me. Lord, show me how to go, where to go, and when to go. Remember when he sent the disciples, he was like, do not worry about what you should say, because I will give you utterance. So it's that peaceful when you let him lead. When you be like, okay, I'm supposed to go and address your congregation, your people. What do you want to tell them? And then you allow him to flow and he is the project manager, he is the boss, he is also the project designer. He designs the project, he designs the work plan and everything. You just have to let go and allow him to lead. The only problem comes when we want it to happen in a particular way and we have a particular picture of what it should be like, and then we want to push that instead of pushing his heart and intuition and direction. So it's he is the coolest boss, and it's the funnest job to do, where you just sit and wait. It's like, okay, God, we're having a Wednesday meeting. You go into your closet and you listen, and he leads you. So there is more to him than you. Unlike where you guys work in your jobs, where you have to plan, where you have to do this. I think for me, the easiest thing is just to let him lead, allow the Holy Spirit to guide me through it. The consistency is when you have a genuine love for God. It's not about being a pastor or a leader, it's about being a child of God. Consistency comes from a relationship that you have with God. I always give an example of you guys with your boyfriends and the people you love. Nothing tells you to be consistent. Nothing pushes you to be consistent. It's the love that is in your heart that will make you do whatever it takes to see him, to app him, to call him, to be with him. Even if your parents want to kill you, you make a plan to go, like, he is around the corner. I need to get out of the house and risk it all, you know?
Yeah.
You would think about what mom's going to say when you're coming back, but when you're going, it's all about him. So consistency comes from that genuine love for God, where I just love who he is, and I just love being loved by him. So it's a love thing that pushes me to him, to be consistent, to stay in it. You know, it's you know how God is the groom and we are the bride. That is actually a real kind of relationship. If you just give him your heart, there is that push of what is he going to say, what are we going to talk about today. So it pushes me to read the word because I'm expectant to hear him speak to me through revelation knowledge and simply through the written word. And it pushes me to pray because of the insights and the visions you get from there. And it pushes me to fast because of the expectation of the fulfillment that comes from his spirit. So it's a love relationship where he loves me and I love him back. So it pushes that consistency. It pushes that consistency, just like you're pushed towards him. If he exists, and if he's there. So that's the kind of thing. So it stays fresh when you continue to give yourself to it. You know how a relationship runs dull if you don't see each other so often, if you don't talk so often, if you don't give each other gifts so often, and if you don't care about each other's dealings so often, then you grow apart. It's like that with God. If you don't talk to each other often, if you don't see each other often, if you don't make time for him, you become distance. You know how he says in his word, draw nigh unto me and I'll draw nigh unto you. It's a love relationship, you know. And I always say God is a gentleman. He is not a sweet or an unclean spirit or a devil that just pounces on you without your consent, you know.
Yeah.
You draw nigh, he draws near. Come unto me and then I will show you, you know. He is always, he doesn't impose himself on you, you know. He waits on you to draw, then he draws. But he makes the path for you to come to him, but it's up to you to take it. So you need to be intentional about the relationship, and then it will cause you, the more you experience him, the more you want him, then that's how consistency comes about.
Okay. So what are some of the sacrifices that you did along the way? for him.